I have to log in.
Little DNA,
Yeah, right.
fingerprint.
Don't give them any ideas. Because that would make us start even later.
Recording.
But here we are, live for Talk Time with TJ on a Tuesday night, Triple T number 204 on November 25th, 2025. My name is TJ Zebel. I call myself a professional problem solver, which I always follow up with no, I don't know everything. I will never claim to know everything. I just have a unique way of helping people find solutions that they are looking for. And we are live on YouTube, so I get to say, hi, Mom. And for the rest of you on YouTube, please do me all of the YouTube favors that cost you nothing but a few clickety clicks. Hit the subscribe button, ring the bell, hit some likes. I could use a couple of likes. I know I'm fishing for likes and comments and all that good stuff, but I always appreciate them. And what else? I got a website you can check out. We got some new additions coming up, so stick around for that. And the way you find it is you go to www.thetswb.com, thetallskinnywhiteboy.com. And I am him and he is I, and I've been that person since way before the internet. So if you find anything else, that is not me. I am the tall, skinny white boy. And on there, you'll find some of the stuff that I do. In fact, if you click the About Me tab, you'll get a little PDF that's only 6 pages long that will give you some insights as to what kind of a life I've been blessed to share and live up until this moment. But on the website, you'll also see things that I help people with, such as depression, anxiety, phobias, PTSD, grief, relationships. We know what time of the year it is, so if you know anybody going through some challenging times, depression, grief, stuff like that, please have them get in touch with me. I do offer a free 30-minute consultation. That's right, no charge. It's our chance to chit-chat, see where you're at, find out what kind of challenges you're up against. And if I'm fit, I will let you know, but I promise you also, if I feel that we're not a fit, I will let you know. I want you to get the change work that you need. And I will also help find somebody, one of my many people in the trade that can help you out so we get the best fit for you. And it's time to introduce the tie of the week. And actually, I've had this one for quite a while. It's a favorite of people. Yeah, got a little poo on my
so cute.
tie. And one of our favorites, TI double gut.
It's adorable.
Tie of the week. So we got that done. Anybody got any stuff they would like to share from the last 7 days since we were here last?
I didn't know if Mark was going to pop on.
We'll see. Do you have anything?
Just insights abound. And I feel like there are moments where I have like crystal clear clarity, and then there are other moments where I feel like I'm in a blender and I have no idea what's going on, and I'm like, whatever. I got no control over anything. And there's always been a time where you've said you wouldn't be surprised if like an alien came down and popped up behind you, and you'd be like, sounds about right. That's what I kind of feel like.
Yes, I identify with that quite well.
Yeah, it's been super crazy. But on the bright side, it's Thanksgiving week, and that is wonderful. All good stuff. Lots to be thankful for.
And for those of you that are watching and realize that you've got some heavy food options ahead of you, uh, Lenora is the person that you want to chit chat with to take care of that. You can look up her book on Amazon, download it, and get there you go. Get set on your way to feeling better about what you're going to be eating and what people are going to try and talk you into eating.
Mm, very
Mm-hmm.
much so. And no longer feeling guilty or deprived. Lots of
Yes.
good stuffs. Yes. So thank you for the shout out.
Hey, anytime.
Hmm.
Anybody else got anything they want to share from the last 7 days? All right. Well,
Nothing world shattering. Just you know, sometimes it's good to just be skating your lane, as I like to say.
That's a good one.
yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Sometimes no news is good news.
That I do
Considering
say
all the
quite a
highs
bit.
and lows that I've gone through this year, I'll take
yeah. Yeah, there's something to be said about the boring even road some days. I feel the same way. I just dropped a huge chunk of coin uh, on my van because the transmission that I complained about right away when I bought it, I was sad. I'm sad to say I was correct that there was an issue.
We were hoping you were going to be incorrect.
Yes, I was hoping very much that they would open it up and go, yeah, it's just one of those type of transmissions, but no.
There's a cicada stuck in it.
Yeah, no, they opened it up and it was full of metal, and so it was a complete rebuild. But on the bright side, I will be grateful that the people that worked on it know what they're
Good
doing.
people.
Backwards, forwards, upside down, inside out. Dave, that worked on it, has been working on transmissions for 35 years. And the owner of the place, 45, which I'm like, yeah, so you started when you were 6. Okay, got it. Yeah. But it's one of those places, the building looks like it's been there for 100 years as a transmission shop. The inside of the building smells like it's been a transmission shop for 100 years. That's the kind of place you want your vehicle working.
Yepper.
Yeah, so it's back. The bank account took a pretty good kick to the head, but it will recover.
Thank goodness.
Yes. But enough about my wham wham. On with the show. For those of you tuning in for the very first time or watching this recording for the very first time, the way it works, it's a 2-hour show. First hour, I have 3 topics I do my best to try and get through. And then the second hour, the magic happens, things shift, and it's open platform, open mic. Anybody on the call can bring up a topic or a question, and I let everybody on the call answer first because I like to learn as well. And after everybody's answered, if I feel like there's still something that I can add, that's when I put in my 2 centavos. And we go from there. So, without any further ado, diggity dig, it is time for the topics of the night. They are Holidaze and Reletics.
What was it? Sorry, I was talking.
Say again.
Yeah, Holidaze and Reletics, gratitude and maintenance.
Ooh.
So, as we alluded earlier when we were chit-chatting, yes, the holidays are upon us already. And That also means spending time sometimes with the Reletics. Yes, I heard the groans from across the lands already. Like,
Across
everybody,
the lands.
every family has that one or two.
I think I am that one.
Well, I could be as well, but that sometimes they call and what can I bring? Why don't you bring some ice? Yes, bring the ice. You bring the ice. That way when they show up 3 hours late, you still had your food and everybody ate, and now it's time for some refreshments if you have any room.
Hmm.
The other thing is not only preparing your body for the potential 5-pound holiday gain, we're going to keep it moderate, but the mental drain. And with that, that's where we uh, make sure that a lot of people don't think about that. They know that it's coming up, and we all have something going on in our life. And yet, if we're smart, we've kept that to ourselves, or there are certain things you just don't have to go putting out there. But for some people, this will be the first holiday season without somebody or without a pet or without a job or without something. And even with all of the stress that we are going through, bringing that along to the celebration can be a challenge. Keeping our side together and then taking on whatever weight the other people want to put on, dealing with potential energy vampires. And so I want to make sure that everybody understands that prepare for it, do the best you can, and reach out to people. Reach out for help. Lenora, you had your hand up for a little bit?
I did. And hand to goodness, we did not have a conversation about this. I think in the last couple of days, I know on Friday we had a conversation about this, but I was having courtroom fights in my head, and I just realized I'm missing a ring. Have you ever had a courtroom fight in your head where you're fighting with somebody? And I didn't realize I was in a courtroom, and I kept thinking, I'm like, I know what I'm talking about. I don't have to keep justifying this. And I kept asking that part. I'm like, what are you wanting? What are you trying to get here? There's something you're trying to get because you're not comfortable with where you are. I was like, where'd he go? And I realized that I was somehow in a courtroom, like having a judge still determine if I was valid or not. And once I saw that I was in a courtroom, like there was a jury, there was a judge, people were going back and forth, I was like, oh, I don't have to be in this room anymore.
Yeah.
And it was really, really surprising because once I saw that, it really solidified even more that I didn't need validation. I didn't need to keep arguing. And I never saw it before that I was having this conversation in a courtroom. And when I did acknowledge that, I literally had walked out of the courtroom. And it was really, really eye-opening. And I also heard another piece today where especially when you're in a disagreement with somebody, especially if you're in a disagreement with a narcissist, the way that they're talking to you can scramble your brain and make you think that you don't know what you're talking about. And the way that this woman had said this, it really just reinforced some of the things that I had been working on for a very long time. Because I had struggled with the thought of, if I wasn't being clear, it must have meant that I was stupid. Like there was no other alternative, and that was it. And the way that she had said it was, oh, yes, I knew they didn't understand, but the way that she very specifically had said it, as if they're working and your brain is going offline because you're supposed to be having this conversation where you're having this interaction where it's making sense. And when it's not, you're not getting that information of that this is making sense, it does mess with your brain. And that was a huge reframe too. Leading to, you're all gonna love this one, and I'm gonna have to read it several times because it's so good. If you are doing the work 99% of the people spend their life avoiding, why are you surprised when less than 1% of the people understand you?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Those are my thoughts.
Which leads us right into, so many people start down the pathway with the work that we do, and they get hurt when friends and family drop off because you're not on their level anymore and you are not who you were before. So in essence, in some ways, you become somebody they've never met before, a stranger who they physically know,
Mm-hmm.
but mentally don't understand and don't know how to deal with.
I think there's something, and I think Mark will find this up in, especially in with some of the people that he talks with. It's almost like once you start doing this kind of work where you think, these people, yeah, I think they'll be happy for me. And there's some sort of discord where it somehow separates people more. But the people that were truly seeing you, their love amplifies.
Mhm. That's the joy of being able to get out and about with this new energy.
I would have never met none of you if it wasn't for this kind of work. That'd be so sad. That makes me sad.
What you're going to find out though is there's, as you pointed out, like 1%, it'll be a bit more challenging to find people that fit in your tribe. But using protective empathy with what you've learned and where you've grown from, it's easier to look at the people that no longer fit in your tribe with understanding. And that doesn't mean that you have to fall for toxic empathy or suicidal empathy where you allow them to take advantage of you, take your energy because you understand why they're doing it. And that's where a lot of my clients absolutely dread the holidays because they've got so much toxic empathy or suicidal empathy that by the time the holidays are over, they feel absolutely beaten, slapped 28 different ways and had to fit back into boxes they haven't fit in for ages, and swallow their words, bite their tongue, all of the above, because it's the right thing to do. Everybody knows he's kind of a pain, so just leave him alone. Hey, I've got an idea. How about if he goes somewhere where everybody else is miserable so he fits in? Well, that wouldn't be very nice. Well, slapping him ain't any different than him slapping us. Cheek for cheek. Yay! Reletics. That's why I call it that. But there's, again, with that, with all of that going on, as I pointed out earlier, there are the other challenges. Financial, um, health, food, all the above. We know that Thanksgiving is typically here in America the one day where if you're on one of them special diet things, well, we don't cater to that here, sir, young lady. So you're just gonna have to fill your plate and fit in. What? You don't like my cooking? Huh? And there are ways to stand up for yourself, I guess, and understand, is the battle worth winning or losing the war? Well, that depends on whether or not you take it home with you afterwards. Lenora.
Find it very. Oh, sorry. Oh, you can go ahead, Mark.
I was just going to say that it's amazing how in this day and age, certain things, tear us apart rather than bring us together, especially around the Thanksgiving table, like politics. Like,
Oh boy.
who gives a rat's rear end, if your third cousin once removed has one political stance, or that you're being shunned, or because you believe in that stuff, and that it can tear families apart, and really we should be looking for ways to bring people together, and but everybody gets together, and sometimes you get together with family and you look around the room and go, I guess I'm the normal one.
Normal.
These people, like I said, they're looking for, points of division, whereas, we points of commonality. Like I said, but people will let that stuff, drive families apart. Whereas, this time of year, we should be, grateful for what we have, what what the year has given us and what the year has taken away.
Yes.
So health, friends, that we've had to say goodbye to, or deal with, certain challenges. So, I think it's it should be, traditionally it's a coming together, so who cares if Uncle Jimmy believes in aliens,
Yes.
go for it, dude, ask him to hit you, try to hitch a ride on one of those UFOs. Acceptance,
Yep.
rather than polarities. So the holidays, like you said, they've, and I think people are, starting to get, starting to reject all the, the mind viruses that are out there and things that divide us rather than things that bring us together.
And while you were saying that, one of my squirrels, by the way, if you're new to Planet TJ, yes, squirrel. There's a lot of squirrels that live around here. My squirrels know squirrels who bring over squirrels that are related to squirrels from another country, another county, and they all show up as well. So one of my squirrels pointed out that maybe we just need to, for certain families, have a little sign up on the door when people walk in. And I guess you could say that there should be a safe word that everybody knows. If people start talking gossip or politics or something, everybody just starts going, vinegar, too much vinegar. You keep bringing up the vinegar, you're going to have to go outside. Doesn't take much vinegar to ruin the punch. And you could also, I guess, find one of your neighbors that is going to be gone and just ask if it's okay if you use their driveway so that you can put up a sign. And anybody that feels the need to talk politics, you have to go across the street, red house on the left, in the driveway, and you can stand out there and you can talk politics, but you don't get to talk politics on this property.
It's a good one.
It's a couple ideas.
It's a really good one.
Yeah. And Lenora, you would put your hand up.
And what's so funny is I think for people like going into the holidays, yes, because we can definitely have those moments where, we can say, let's leave certain topics outside and let's just have a nice time and be together. For people who tend to hear things differently and go in a conversation inside their head while they're at an event, some things that I've always found helpful is to excuse yourself and go to the bathroom and just find a way to calm yourself down. But especially because all of a sudden, out of nowhere, we can feel like we're activated to feel guilty about something, that
Yes.
we should be doing something. And because we're not doing something, we therefore must be bad or wrong or inappropriate or whatever the case is. And to stand guard at the doorway of your mind.
Yes.
Is it really necessary that you're guilty for not doing this or not doing that? Or is somebody else just in a bad mood and they happen to be taking it out on you? And this is such a program that is started so young. And I often do say, you're too close to the mirror. If you can find a way to step back and have that perspective and go, do I really need to feel guilty about this? And it's like, oh, they're making me feel guilty. Okay, what's happening in that moment? Why are you giving them permission to make you feel guilty? If you feel like you're doing something that's right for you, that's all that matters. And in that, I noticed there was a lot of, especially when we go back and forth, there's that almost self-abandonment where we're no longer standing up for ourselves, and now somehow we're arguing with ourselves in this conflict. So to find a way to get to the bathroom, take a couple breaths, find the best way that you can to calm down and to come back into your body and to have that clarity that goes, no, I really don't need to feel guilty about this. No, just because I didn't wash every dish and didn't make the whole meal, I don't need to feel guilty about this. This person is in a bad mood, or this person is going through something, and let me try and be curious and understanding. Because what you're going to do is you're going to diffuse the energy that is going on inside of you in a less than positive way, and you're going to find a way to recalibrate. And I did not understand the power of that when somebody had initially explained it to me. So if you notice that you get really chaotic in your head during family events, find a way to step away, find a way to calm yourself, and do your best to be understanding in that moment, and then deal with it once you're in the privacy of your own place and you can have the clarity to navigate your way through that, or reach out to one of us. Hi, Renee.
And along that line, once again, my squirrels are running around holding up signs, is what you look for oftentimes is what you'll find.
Mm.
If you go in there expecting a battle, you know, it's one thing to understand that scorpions can only do what scorpions do. Yes, you have to prepare yourself for that. But walking into the place with your boxing gloves already on
Different story.
can be an instigator. So one thing that popped in was packing all of your issues that we're dealing with because hey, we're humans doing this human experiment, and so pack your current issues into a couple of suitcases and leave them at home. They'll still be there when you get back. But bring a couple of empty suitcases with you for the luggage that the the reletics are going to try and push on you. Don't let it get inside. Put it in the suitcases, and when you say goodbye, leave them outside the front door. Just like, boop, these aren't mine. Get in your car, drive home, leave that luggage behind. Mark.
Emotional baggage, definitely. I was thinking like when you get together, it's kind of like a recreation of my town. You can't go home again because when you get thrust into get like around the holidays, you get together with people who knew you but don't know you.
Yes.
So, so you have to re-educate them as to what what you're all about, and if they want to have, like I said, and that's where the echo technique I think is great. Will be stating all kinds of opinions, and opinions are like noses. They're all different, and they're all unique. And if you just give them their words back, they'll love you for it. You have a very short amount of time to create rapport over the holidays. And like I said, if you give people their words back, they'll love you for it. So it doesn't matter what their opinion is, doesn't matter what their belief is, doesn't matter what their rule is. All they want is validation for all those parts of themselves. And I find that if you just give people their own words back, they'll love you for it. And like Lenore said, just be generally curious. So I'm curious, so asking questions, and that's kind of one of the things we do. Is to because sometimes we get clients that they'll challenge some of our precepts and like, oh, I'm curious. So how did you get to that? Why do you believe that therapy is just uh, something stupid and something that weak people do? And really, and then whenever they say, just echo it back because that's what people are looking for. Family, they're looking for validation, and they come up with stuff. Again, but you don't push back against it. You just accept it. Acceptance, that hey, your opinion is just as valid as mine,
Yep.
So that's
And
how you fight without fighting. Move like water, like the monsoon,
exactly.
you know.
Well, and you touched on something there that they know you, but they don't. Like I said earlier, if you're not chatting with them, in touch with them, at least every 2 weeks, at minimum once a month, and now you're showing up in a house and yeah, they remember you back in the day when you had the lampshade on your head at that one party and you did that thing. And they're still holding that picture up of you. Yeah, remember when you did this? Yeah, guess what? That was 20 years ago. I've changed a little bit, yes. Remember that time, if we're going to pull that up, remember that time when you filled your diaper? Yeah, we got it passed. Things have happened. I'm not even the same person I was last week. So if you don't want to get to know who I am today, then you're stuck with the person that I used to be, and that person's dead. They died. The person I was yesterday is dead. You get me. This one. That's all I got. I don't know how to be anybody else. And I'm not going to put on a show just because you showed up. Mark.
It's funny, we treat people, and this was the squirrel stopped by and said, we treat people by how we have that picture of them, maybe when we first met them or whatever. And we never tend to, like I said, I know that you're not the same guy that I met in Vegas because you've evolved far beyond that, and but I think we tend to relate to people based on some of our favorite pictures, the avatar that we hold in our minds for, for that particular person is, how we seem to, especially we don't see them all the time. That's what we default to is the picture that, that we're most comfortable with, I guess you could say,
As a photographer, it's interesting to watch people, especially during the holidays, because people always want to bring out the camera too. Let's get a group photo. We got to do a family photo. And as a professional photographer, I love analyzing them to see the people who are enjoying having the picture taken and the people that made everybody else beg them for 10 minutes to just be in one picture, dang it. They're like, fine, take the dang picture. Well, smile. I am smiling. It's the best you get. All right, so all our strangers get to know who Scrooge is. Yay! My answer was always, this picture is only of you. It's not for you. You don't have to hang it up in the wall. You don't have to show it to anybody. In fact, you keep this up, you won't even get a copy. If it's that miserable to be around us, why would you want, we just want you because, I don't know, you're family. You're stuck with us. But other than that, it's understanding that it's still a moment in time. And you get to make it what you want of it. And if you have to stand up and set some rules, set some standards to make it an enjoyable situation, be prepared for it and do it. Any other input, ahas, epiphanies on this before we switch gears to try and get maybe 3 in this time? The next one should be pretty easy for us. Although I'm amazed at how hard it is for certain people, and that's gratitude. It's interesting, it's sadly interesting to see how heavily weighted people are to the negative. If you ask them what's wrong about something, without hesitation, 27 different things roll off the top of their head. Ask them what's good about something and watch them have to analyze and maybe come up with 3 or 4. Ask people what they're grateful for and watch the time that it takes for them to come up with something that isn't, I'm going to say, globally generic. What are you thankful for? Oh, I'm thankful, air to breathe, and I'm thankful that I'm alive. Okay, but tell me something out of yesterday that you were grateful for. And then teaching them I don't know, I guess I call them the outside crazy stuff of, have you ever been thankful for dirty dishes? Because that means that you had food to eat. Have you ever been grateful for a sore body at the end of the night? Meaning that you had a body healthy enough to do the work that you did all day. As much as I grumbled earlier, I'm grateful that I got basically a brand new transmission in the vehicle, and I'm grateful that we had the resources to pay for it.
The power of reframing.
People grumble about having to put gas in their car without being grateful for the fact that A, we have money to afford gas, B, you have a car to put gas into, C, you have a body that has the ability to operate a vehicle to go get the gas. And we forget about the microcosm and the macrocosm. There is so much to be grateful for. Even showing up for the Reletics. Spending time around crazy Uncle Scott make you grateful for the life you got.
It sounded a little like there was a rhyme in there.
Yes, a little bit of rhyme. And complaining about that, oh my gosh, oh. What about if you just be grateful that you had the resources to fill the table with more food than you could eat in one sitting? Or being grateful that you had a place to gather. That they didn't ask you to come down to Burger King for Thanksgiving. Do it your way.
All accurate statements.
Any thoughts, ideas, ahas on this? Mark?
The even the concept of gratitude escapes most people. Like I said, we said earlier that we're kind of in the 1%ers that actually can stop and smell the coffee and be grateful that, that we have coffee, or, that taking that extra moment to, I'm very grateful that, I got to stick around. I'm very grateful that my wife has decided to stick around. I told her she couldn't leave, but Um, I don't know how much my vast superpowers were able to hold her on the planet, but
We're going to say a lot.
yeah, well, again, the belief that I just couldn't, I didn't want to let her go.
Yep.
I couldn't, you know. But be grateful. Like I said, the one percenters are great. I can see the things that, the little things, like you said, that we have heat tonight, that we have electricity, that I was able to put up my Christmas tree this weekend. I was anticipating the grandkids showing up to decorate it, like, building the anticipation. I'm so grateful that, we can, enjoy ourselves, enjoy family, and, but I think it's the people that, again, that go looking for it, uh, looking for the things that they need to be grateful for. The list is longer than you realize. So I'm grateful for all of you. I'm grateful for, like I said, even that my friend is on to the next incarnation. I was grateful for the time he spent, we spent together. The 50 years was just not long enough. So yeah, I'm grateful for all these things. And but again, I think doing what we do, that we have something we can do every day that gives us passion and purpose, so we look for it. And when you look for it, you usually find it.
Yes. Yep.
The bad
That's
stuff is just
how.
too easy to bring up and to whine and kvetch about. Like I said, I don't run my sessions that way. I'm like, yeah, if you want to do that, you can go to the bar,
Exactly.
I want to do positive psychology here. I want to talk about, learnings and goals and figuring this stuff out. So, again, it's just you got to have that, and I get to practice it every day. I get to be grateful, so it's a path you choose to walk down.
Yes.
Whereas the crowd is going down the, whining convention, complaining crowd. They always get together and it's always who can, oh, you think, yeah, that's bad. You had that operation. You should see what happened to me. I got it 10 times worse than you. They're always,
Uh,
that's a game people love to play. And
one
I'm
up.
like, the one-upmanship,
One
exactly.
up. And one of my squirrels uh, said to tag on with what Lenora brought up about when you feel that energy building up and you just got to jump into a room, bathroom, or the spare bedroom, or the coat room, or whatever. And you could use a little protocol that I heard of to help with uh, when you have trouble sleeping, getting back to sleep. And I've used it a couple of times where you just go through the alphabet and you pick three things per letter that you are grateful for. I am grateful for apples. I am grateful for air. I am grateful for, and see, it shouldn't be that challenging. But I've had to use it quite a bit, and I figure time's going to pass anyway. I can either lay here and hear 27 different songs, think about wondering whether or not centipedes know which leg has a Charlie horse, whether or not penguins actually, get really cold butts, the important stuff at 4 in the morning when you're like, just go to sleep. So that could be another one. Go in and just redirect your mind and come up with things to be grateful for.
It's a huge difference.
Any other ahas, inputs, epiphanies that you guys got? We might actually be able to fit in 2.5 topics tonight. Well, then let's hit 3 tonight. Maintenance. Oh, maintenance. Coming from a maintenance specialist for many years, and I picked this one. Actually, I had it set up for last week, and we didn't get to it because. And a lot of people hear maintenance, and it's one of those generic terms, generic labels, generic words. But there are so many different ways that it applies. Obviously, seasons are changing. Are you keeping up with maintenance on your house, on your cars, stuff like that? And once again, the holidays are coming up. How are you going to keep up the maintenance on your body with all of the changes coming up? And it's so interesting that people are like, oh, I get colds every winter. It's because of the winter. It's because of the being around people. Well, maybe it's because you hibernated inside. You're not getting any sun. You're breathing stale air. You're eating things that you don't normally eat. Your sugar intake is typically like 20-fold, if not higher, which is not good for your body. Well, of course you got sick. You got to think about those times where you were around a bunch of people in the summertime and you didn't get that cold. But you were eating right, you were out getting good sunlight, windows were open in the house if it wasn't, 100 and help me Jesus degrees outside. So you got some fresh air. And you were more active. And so your body was able to have the immune system running the way it should be. So again, with the holidays coming up, keep your stress level at the forefront. What is your stress level? Are you sleeping properly? Are you eating properly? Are you figuring out some way to get some sunlight, some fresh air, some exercise? Are you moving around? I grew up in Minnesota. Yeah. Winters can be a little brutal. And a couple of you are up in the East Coast. Same stuff. I look at, my friends out in San Diego where there's no weather, and they're like, winter's here. It's terrible. It got down to like 50 degrees yesterday. Really? Well, you better put a sweater on the dog. I mean, I don't know how you're going to survive. It's probably going to get down into like the mid 40s at night. Along with that, I also, a little tip from my home maintenance class. How many of you have switched the direction on your ceiling fans? Yeah, and everybody, what? Or people will just shut them off. Well, I'm trying to keep the house warm. Here's a tip. It will save you a ton of money in your heating bill this winter. Reverse the blades on your ceiling fan. Put it on low to help heat the house. A ceiling fan can heat the house? Are you for sure? It's a fan. All right, so does hot air go up or down? Goes up. Hot air balloon. So everybody's thermostat is right about on this level on the wall. The thermostat is there to tell the furnace what to do. And you set the thermostat for 65 because you've got better bills to pay than the gas bill or the electric bill. So the thermostat, about yay high, decides, oh my gosh, it is 63 degrees in here. We need heat. Furnace says, gotcha. Starts pumping out hot air. Where does that hot air go right away? Straight to the ceiling. And it keeps pumping out hot air until that little cloud of hot air finally gets down far enough to where it touches the thermostat, and the thermostat goes, ah, 65. Okay, you can shut off. The only problem is you're not sitting on the ceiling, you're sitting on the couch. And it's 75 or 80 on the ceiling, it is 65 here, and it's 55 down here, and you're under a blanket going, it doesn't feel like 65 in here. That's a little cold. I don't want to do nothing. So you turn on the ceiling fan in reverse on low to gradually, softly mix all of that warm and cold air so it's 65, 65, 65, and your furnace will actually run less, which saves you energy, but it also saves you mileage on your furnace. And they're not cheap anymore. Lenore.
I know you have mentioned this to me over the years, and it still creates a breeze.
It's still what?
So it still creates a breeze, and I don't like to do it because then there's an unnecessary breeze.
Then here, I was just going to get to, well, TJ, how do I know if it's summer mode or winter mode?
No, I know the difference.
What is it?
Counterclockwise and clockwise. That's how you know the difference.
It depends on the blade pitch. So the easiest way for people to remember, because we don't know if that fan was made on Monday morning or Friday afternoon.
Okay.
You turn it on high and you stand directly below it. If you feel the air coming down and cooling you off, that's your summer mode.
Mm-hmm.
If it's running on high and you're directly below it and you don't feel the breeze,
Okay.
that's your winter mode. And if your fan is still running too high, what you can do is you can actually go get a wall mount. Preface this. If your ceiling fan has two switches,
Mm-hmm.
one that controls the fan and one that controls the light, you can put a wall-mounted switch for the fan, which actually turns the fan into a 9-speed instead of a 3-speed. Because you've got 3 speeds on low. If you got it on low, then on the wall you've got 1, 2, 3. Then you go to medium, you've got 1, 2, 3. And on high, you've got 1, 2, 3. So it turns it into a 9-speed, allowing you to slow the fan down even further.
Mm-hmm.
Or you can get, if you do not have 2 switches for your ceiling fan, you can get the remote control that has multiple speeds on it and then determine how much speed you want out of the fan.
Okay.
But as long as you've got the fan moving a little bit, just enough to circulate that air, it also keeps the house healthier by keeping the air rotating.
That I have heard.
And I will throw in a little something for the vertically challenged people. Yes, it's kind of a bugger to get up there on a ladder or something. Don't use a chair. Don't use your office chair or anything that moves or swivels. If you don't know why, watch Fail Army. And for you clean freaks, yes, when that fan comes to a stop after running all summer like it should, there's gonna be lint on that fan. It has no reflection on how clean you keep the house. That is how much particles float in the air all the time. Another reason to keep the fan moving and to change your air filters on your HVAC system on the regular. And no, you don't have to go with the super duper SEER 28 hypoallergenic filters. They're actually hard on the system because it's like putting a super plugged filter into the system from the get-go.
The stuff you know, TJ.
You can put in, don't go to the very cheapest cheapo because they're a step above a screen, but the advantage of the cheapo, they are the most effective at about their half-life.
Okay.
Because they finally got plugged up enough with particulates that they're now filtering the smaller stuff as well.
Oh.
There you go. Maintenance 101.
Your home maintenance winter projects.
Yes, for switching.
Yeah, welcome guys to TJ's YouTube channel of home maintenance.
I actually do have one on YouTube. TJ Talks or TSWB Talks. I was making some back in the day, and some of them made them on there. The other ones died with my Facebook account. But that has taken us past the top of the hour, and we've had a few more guests show up. Good to see Elijah and Holly. Puts a smile on my face. And if you're tuning in for the very first time, this is where the magic happens. Hour 2 is where it's open platform, open mic. Anybody on the call can bring up a topic or ask a question. I have everybody on the call answer first, and if I've got something to add, that's when I do my two centavos. So, if you're also new to this, we'll see how long the pause is before somebody speaks up first. Who has a topic or a question for hour 2? Let's start it off. Ooh, right off the get-go, Mark's got his hand up.
Well, I really didn't have any questions coming into tonight, and this is just kind of a add-on to what we just, the topic was, maintenance. And, how often and how, do we think about, especially in the season of, that we're entering, the maintenance of relationships, and how, because, like anything else, if you don't use it, you lose it. How often do we make a point of visiting friends who are maybe on the borderline of, they're acquaintances, but they're in the borderline of friends, and we this in the season to make people feel welcome. And how does, again, how do we maintain our relationships, and how do we, what people think about, again, because, all relationships need a degree of maintenance. You get together with your buddies or whatever, and, but you can take the season to, seem to, to build relationships, do a little maintenance, relationship maintenance. I always find that the time between Thanksgiving and Christmas, it's almost like, it's almost like a state change comes over people. They're more giving, more
Yep.
caring, more loving, we can use that being the one percenters to, to reach out and to, you know, um, maintain, not only maintain the relationships that we have, but make further efforts to bring more people into our circle. So I just thought, the maintenance of relationships. So, I think that's important in this, especially in this season.
Great, great topic. Anybody got anything they want to feed into that? I've got lots of stuff. Lenora.
I'm very intrigued to hear people's responses because I find that there are people that we can reach out to, and you don't actually know if it's making a difference. And then you're like, okay, well, and I guess they don't want to be in touch, or they don't, if they're not making much of an effort. So how do you manage that? Because there are plenty of people that you can make an effort with and they might not respond. So I am intrigued by this, Mark, because I'm going to play both parts.
Some people are high maintenance.
It's a good way to put it too.
Anybody else?
You got stuff?
One thing that one of my squirrels brought up was, well, actually two things. One, who sends out Christmas cards or holiday cards anymore?
Mm-hmm.
Who has received holiday cards, Christmas cards?
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes just that simple little thing. And I've talked to, a number of people that Hallmark has software you can put on your computer and you can print out your own cards. And they're pretty cool. I've got different card stock that you can buy, and envelopes and everything, and it allows you to completely customize your cards. So that's one little thing, but the other part that I was bringing up is check-ins. Putting down that little list of people that you know who, especially those who lost a special somebody, pets, family, and the call doesn't even really have to be, hey, I know that this could be a difficult time of the year. We ain't talked for a while, and find a reason to chit chat with them. See what they've got. See if they have any plans. If anybody has invited them over. If the family, if the kids are all going to the in-laws and they're forgetting about the outlaws. But boom. That's another one to keep in mind. And Mark, you got your hand up?
Yeah, just a scroll delivered me a remembrance of in a book from junior high and high school. It was a little poem. Book was about sound and sense, and it said, "Lines from a Christmas card. May all my enemies go to hell. Noel, 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 Noel." Just thought I'd throw that in.
Mm-hmm. Holly.
Few thoughts that have come to my head with this conversation. One is the importance of having healthy boundaries. And so sometimes the best thing you could do for a relationship is let it die. I know that may sound horrible, but sometimes a relationship has outlived its season and it's, taking up So one thing, to consider is this relationship possibly robbing you of energy that you should be spending in other relationships that are more important for this season in your life? And is it robbing them of the energy as well? Or are you dealing with somebody who doesn't respect your boundaries, somebody who is just a leech that tries to suck all your energy all the time and never gives anything back and all that? So that's one thought, but then balance that with something I've been thinking about a lot lately too is somebody going through a season that's difficult? And if they're not responding to you, they're not reciprocating as much. Is it just because they're going through a season where they're recovering from something, where they need to, just maybe they need a little bit more privacy, maybe they just need a little bit more support, whatever it may be. So always when you're making that judgment, make sure you're looking at the entirety of the relationship, not maybe just, the last month or something. If somebody's behaving differently, that could be also a reason to reach out and say, as we were saying, check in especially. But also recognize there are things you can sometimes do that don't drain you. So ask yourself, is checking up on this person, is reaching out, can I do it in a way that doesn't drain me and maybe even is exciting for me? Because sometimes the best things that I do, I have neighbors that what they'll do is they'll just make, maybe a little cup full of candy with a thing just saying thinking of you or something, and they'll go through the entire neighborhood and give one to everybody. And there have been some years that, if it's been a rough year and, I I have well, I don't have in-laws, but I have siblings who have in-laws that insist on taking all the holidays, and so sometimes I'll just be by myself and I have to work on the holiday too, and sometimes just that one little cup of, just a little card can mean all the world on that day. It's like, oh, I had to work today, but somebody was thinking of me.
Yep.
So, once again, don't do it if you don't have the money, if you don't have the time, if you don't have the energy. But if there are little things you could do to just reach out to complete strangers, sometimes it might make their day and you might not have any clue how much it means. So,
Great answer. It's also a good time to look around for volunteer opportunities. There's a lot of those that pop up during the holidays. Lenora.
I was curious to know what kind of time frame you would recommend for that holly.
ooh, that's a really good question. I see a lot of people do it around the holidays, but I've also seen I've had some people that they just randomly do it in the middle of the year, which could be really nice too. That we had a sweet lady, she must have passed away at this point, I think, but she just would do knitting projects, and she'd knit something cute and she'd just pick some random person in the neighborhood to go walk by and give it to him one day.
Aw.
Everybody's birthday and she played the harmonica, and so if she knew your phone number, she'd call you up on your birthday and she'd play her little harmonica and sing happy birthday to you.
Aw.
Um,
That's so sweet.
so I think that it's a mixture. I think that if you try to only reach out during the holidays and that's what everybody else does, sometimes that doesn't mean as much because everybody's doing it. And at
Sure.
the same time, it's also a time when people can feel extra lonely as well. So
Mm-hmm.
I would say trust your gut on it. Just say, this is what I feel this person needs, and I'm going to reach out. And, for one person, it might be I need to reach out to them, in the middle of August, even though their birthday's in February and, there's nothing going on. Where, maybe they're having trouble starting this new school year or, whatever it may be. Or maybe you heard
Mm-hmm.
somebody has the flu or, whatever the case may be. So I don't think there's ever a wrong time to do it. Just trust
Well,
your.
go ahead.
Oh, no, go ahead. I'm done.
The reason I ask is because at what point, like if it's been a year that you've like tried to reach out to somebody, like, hey, hope you're doing well. Do you want to talk? Da, 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 da. At what point are you like, hey?
Oh, sorry. Were you talking about somebody you actually know well rather than like the small thing?
Yeah, rather than just like, hey, I'm thinking of you, but when you're the one that's making the effort more, at what point do you say, okay, you know what? I guess they just don't want a relationship or a friendship.
Mm. I would say on that one, for me, it's like a percentage of the time I've known them.
Okay.
I watch a channel and a lot of times they say, oh, this person was behaving this way, and they're like, I can't remember what they said, but like say 10% of the time that you've known them, they get a pass kind of situation. So if you know somebody who's shown up consistently for you for like an entire decade,
Mm-hmm.
get an entire year. But if you've got
Okay.
somebody you've known for, a month, they showed up for 2 days, they may not get quite as.
Following.
But a big question too is also trusting yourself and your gut. And is this draining me?
Yep.
Not
Okay.
that you're like, it doesn't drain me to be there for this person. It's very different than, every single time I send something out and they're not responding, I can't handle it.
Mm-hmm.
But it also doesn't hurt to ask, reach out and just say, hey, I've noticed you haven't responded in a bit. Is everything going okay?
Mm-hmm.
And that gives them a chance to say, you know what, I'm sorry I can't respond, but like for instance, somebody like me, I'm working grays right now. So yeah, I love your messages. I'd like to send your messages, but I don't think you'll appreciate me responding at 3 a.m. Literal only time I can
Following.
right now. So I would say always give somebody that opening to explain their
Mm-hmm.
but if you've given them a chance to explain their situation and it's, like I said, based on how much it's draining you, that 10% rule I think was a pretty good rule.
Okay. Thank you.
There's something that I want to add to that is understanding your role with a number of people. I've gone through this a number of times and realized that I'm the caller. I'm the person who reaches out. When I look at how many times or how many people call me, it's very minimal. When I look at my call log and the people that I reach out and contact, it's probably multiplied by 30. And there are some people that I have simply had to accept that 5 years can go by and I'll never receive a call from them, no matter how much I recognize it, realize it, whatever. It's kind of a dangerous experiment to run because it can be heartbreaking. But you again accept the fact that if you're the caller, that's the role that you have. And there are a lot of those people that, well, I just didn't want to bother you. I'm afraid I'll bother you. And no matter how many times I tell them, that's why we have voicemail. If I'm busy, I won't answer. No harm, no foul. I've called you a couple of times, got your voicemail, had the opportunity to have fun and leave a funny message. Was that a bother? Well, no. Okay. Try doing the same with me. And then you have those people, God bless them, the only time the phone rings and it's them, you go into panic mode. Oh, geez, why are they calling? I got a good friend in Minnesota that I graduated with, and the only time the 4 times that he has called me was because a mutual friend of ours forgot to wake up. The last time he called, I saw his number on the phone, and I was like, and I just picked up the phone and said, who now? And he told me, and I said, dude, we gotta call me up one day and just say, everybody's alive and the sun came up. That'd be wonderful. I would love that. But we all have different roles in communications and communicating. And like I say, with the holidays coming up, we have to think about that as well. If you haven't heard from people for a while and you are the caller, sometimes I like to take my phone and go into contacts, and I literally will just do a couple of quick scrolls and see where it stops. And I'll go, wow, I haven't talked to that person in like forever. Boop. And I know that I've got a couple of minutes. And 9 times out of 10, when they answer, they're like, hey, I haven't heard from you. And we'll sit there and chit chat for a bit. And even if it takes another 3-4 years before we call, it didn't take 6 or 8 years since we've talked. Holly.
See if I can get off mute here. Something TJ said just also made me think about this too. Remember also that different people have different love languages. And so maybe your love language is words of affirmation, and so you love to talk. And also different people have different phone rules. Some people, and I'm one of them, they see a text as not very personal and not very meaningful. And so it's like, if I'm going to use my phone or I'm going to use my text, 9 times out of 10, it's to get logistics done. And I'm going to get it done as quickly as possible. But, it's like, if you want to reach out and say, hey, we haven't seen each other in a while, let's do quality time together. Let's work out a time that we can come visit and actually go to lunch and, really talk. Suddenly it might be different. So, also just recognize when you might be dealing with a mismatch of love languages, and they might be wanting to spend quality time with you, but you want the words of affirmation, or, maybe they like physical touch, or, whatever the case may be, or, so, yeah, fortunately, most of my friends know if you don't hear from me for a while, it's not because I don't care about you. It's just, that's not my love language, and I have a tendency to get overwhelmed a lot. But, if you ever need me, send in the message, hey, I need you right now. I really need to talk or something, and I'm going to be right there the second I see it. So, there's a big difference between this person doesn't care for me versus this just isn't this person's way that they like to talk and the way that they like to show love.
Yep. All things to think about that a lot of people haven't set the time aside to think about.
Isn't there a common excuse that I didn't want to bother you?
All the time. All the time.
Yeah, like I do that with some friends. Like, come on. I especially want you to reach out if you need something, you need some help or an ear. I had a friend of mine recently who fell off the wagon. He was off drugs and alcohol for like 15 years. And because of stresses or whatever, his job, his wife, blah, 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 he went back at it. And now, that lasted like a month or two. And finally he called me. I had called and left messages, and finally he called me. I said, he told me what was going on. I said, why didn't you call me? I didn't want to bother you. No, you're not bothering me. It's like a gift that I can offer something to you, So, enough with the bothering. Bother me.
My favorite reply on stuff like that is, have you ever had the ability to help somebody? Did it make you feel good?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Then why are you robbing me of that gift of being
Exactly.
able to help you?
Mm-hmm.
Lenora.
Holly, that is an amazing point about different love languages. I am a very big texter. And what's funny is I picked up the I don't want to bother you from growing up, and people, but it does get reinforced. Oh, I can't answer right now, I'm in the middle of something. Or people will answer and they're like, hey, can't talk right now. And I'm like, then why did you answer? So I follow that. And that is definitely a huge flaw in the cell phone, is the accessibility, because I don't know about the rest of you, but you're usually in the middle of something and you're not near a phone waiting for it to ring, as if, like, my grandmother, 7 to 10 at night was her phone time. She you knew she was going to be by the phone so you could get her at that time. It's funny, we don't have that anymore. And I remember being in high school knowing like I could call this person in the evening because I knew they were going to be home. And now, wow, totally different world.
Oh yeah.
Mm.
A lot
I tell my
less
friends-
excuses, but a lot more excuses. All
Yeah.
I tell my friends, look, if I don't want to be bothered, I turn my phone's on, but I turn the ringer and the vibration thing off.
Mhm.
I don't want to be bothered. Like I like to take naps. I like to sleep in. Like if I don't want to talk, I'm not talking. So call anytime you want. If I don't want to talk, I just won't answer. Leave a message. They do that now, you know.
Yep. Holly.
You know, that I am definitely the poster child for I don't want to bother you. That is like the definition. But my sister, I think I've shared this before. My sister said something once to me that really sunk in on that. And this wasn't so much texting, but you know, she asked if I could come watch her kids while she cleaned. And I said, sorry, I'm not going to be able to. And the first thing she said is, thank you for being able to say that, because that's the only reason I can ask you, because I know if it's not convenient, you're going to say no. And I think the same thing could happen with texts that, you know, on the flip side, if you're the one that they're worried about bothering, if they know, hey, they will get back to me, but it's only going to be after you know that it's convenient for them to do so. They're not going to be in the middle of work when they're supposed to be focusing on their employer texting me back. They're not going to be, you know, at lunch with their significant other texting me back because I know this person has boundaries. It makes it so much easier when you know that to be able to text somebody and not feel like you're bothering them if they communicate to you that exact thing of, hey, just so you know, I may not get back to you immediately because I have boundaries around my phone, which is why I need you to put something in there if this is an emergency or something, if you need immediate response, because otherwise I have healthy boundaries around my phone and it will never bother me. But just know that also means that I'm not always going to get back to you immediately.
Yep.
And of course, now with all of the communication gadgets, smartphones, and all this other stuff, it takes discipline to stay focused
Mhm.
with all of the interruptions and the calls and the texts and the spam calls and all of that stuff.
Yep.
And we also have to understand that this is the technology that we've invited into our lives to be more in touch. You know, back in the day, the Jetsons made it made us believe that technology would get to a point where it would be so efficient that we would have to think of things to do.
Yeah. We'd be bored stiff.
Rosie the robot would clean our house and get the groceries and make supper and all the above, and we would just simply show up to work, push a few buttons, and be done with the day. And here we are.
Mhm.
And working on communications as well. So, we're halfway through the second hour. Do we have another question or topic? Come on, I know you guys have. Holly.
Well, since we're talking about maintenance, let's talk about another kind of maintenance, the maintenance of our bodies. Just out of curiosity, especially as we go into the holidays, what are some of each of your best either cooking tips or exercising tips? And it could be anything from this is how I get myself to do it to this is a way that this is my favorite recipe to exercise. Um, yeah, it's kind of wide open on that one, but how do all of you encourage yourself to live healthy, and what are some of your favorite ways to do it? And what are maybe some of your hacks that you use to do it? Any of those I'll take.
I have a mantra for exercise. Whoop. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I religiously exercise every tomorrow. Faithfully.
Faithfully, yes.
I just from a friend of mine yesterday, we were talking about exercise and how he's really into health and fitness, and as much as I'd like to be, it's like I'm so lagging because I haven't made it exercising a habit. So that was one thing he said, make it a habit. And it takes a little while to make it to integrate habits and do it alongside something you're already doing, right? So like if you're having your coffee, let's say, then exercise for 5 minutes. And that was the third part was exercise, like just do something. Like go for a 5-minute walk or a 2-minute walk, or if you want to do push-ups and you haven't for a while, go up against the wall and push against the wall 3 times. Stand-up push-ups. Just start small. Anyway, I thought that was good advice because I tend to overwhelm myself and say, well, I have to spend an hour a day in the gym and all that. So it was reassuring to hear from him. No, just take it easy, work it into your schedule a little bit at a time. The more you do it, the more you're apt to do it in the future. The end.
We had somebody bring up the idea that you got to go to the bathroom at some time. When you get done, tell yourself you're going to do X amount of push-ups or X amount of squats or something. That way you know that you're going to have an excuse, hopefully every day, to set aside a couple of minutes to do some exercises. Mark?
I was just going to say the same thing. When you link, Greg, when you link a automatic habit like going to the bathroom with getting down, the first week and doing 2 push-ups, and then the next week you go to 3 push-ups after you go to bath, pretty soon you're doing 30 push-ups during the day. So that, that would be a way to, again, to build a habit that's already linked to, kind of a habit we got to do every day. So,
Yep. I agree.
Exactly what TJ was saying, basically. But when you link it to something you do automatically, like going to the bathroom, again, then that, it kind of helps you establish that pattern.
Sure, that makes sense. And going to the bathroom can count as the first squat.
Depends on if you're using a Chinese toilet or not. And Renee put in the comments, no leftovers. Don't bring them home with you. If they're forced upon you, find someone with hungry chickens.
There you go.
Of course, I think that depends on whose house you leave. There are some leftovers that are worth taking home.
Oh, yes.
And even from out on Facebook, Dave sent me a couple of comments. He wanted to let you guys know that even though I'm bagging on Burger King, apparently they have good ice cream cones. And he likes your shirt, Lenora. And yes, ceiling fans can be a challenge.
Okay. We'll hear about that one later, I guess.
And Elijah agrees, starting tomorrow, religiously will probably fit in the schedule. Lenora, I'm going to call on you for some answers to Holly's great question about holiday food etiquette and fitness. And
I would say, or I'm going to share, something that I have found to be very, very helpful. I mentioned it last week and I got my picture. And
Wait a minute.
I would even, what,
Let's see
Greg?
that. Let's see that picture.
So I would say, can you see it?
Oh yeah. A little glary, but yes. Okay, that's you at 20.
Ah, you're very kind. I would say stand in front of a mirror for 5 minutes. Set a timer. First thing in the morning.
Yeah.
And say out loud with your own voice, even if it's a whisper, I love you. I'm doing my best to take care of you. If anyone out there is listening, please help. I'm doing my best. I love you.
Yep.
And thank you. And then I would do that in the middle of the day. And then I would do that again as I go to sleep, right before bed. And then, as you're going to sleep, put a hand on your heart and a hand on your side or on your stomach, wherever you feel comfortable. And thank your body for doing everything that it can to take care of you.
That's a good one.
And to the inner critic, you can let that inner critic know that you've heard it, but it's no longer in charge.
Yep. Good stuff.
And to the workaholic, put all the work into a briefcase, your mental briefcase, and I'm talking about not the papers that you're thinking about. It's all of the. Put that in a briefcase and set it outside of the bedroom. It'll still be there in the morning. You can pick it back up and get back at it. But you don't need to bring work into the bedroom when you're trying to sleep, trying to relax and restore your body. And I know, maybe a little easier said than done, but if you've never done it, you don't know how easy it can get.
Well said.
Anybody else got anything to share for that answer? What about food? What about the pressure on food for this wonderful eating holidays coming up?
I think this goes back to being told when we were younger, somewhere along the lines of being shamed and being guilted into certain things, that we were somehow wrong for listening or for choosing something. And especially if it's coming from somewhere in your family. And the reframe to this is you intended to raise people who could think for themselves. And if you're not letting me think for myself and you have a problem with that, then that's on you. Because you like when I think for myself up until it doesn't agree with you. That has nothing to do with me. And being able to point that out can be very, very helpful, because what you would like to do ideally is draw your attention to that younger version that at one point was made to feel bad for speaking, was made to feel bad for choosing, was made to feel bad that they did something that wasn't in agreement with what somebody else thought they should, and to stop abandoning them and stop leaving them out in the cold and speaking up for yourself. Even though there might be tightness in your chest, even though your voice might shake,
Mm-hmm.
Practice that. And even saying, I'm okay with my choice. If I want, I'll take leftovers. And if you do take leftovers, I do like Renee's thought, because I know some people they are wanting to share that because sharing food is a love language. I'm very, very certain of this.
Mhm.
And to not insult them or to not be hurtful and to still be respectful, you can take the food and you can also share it with somebody else. You don't have to take it home. You can bring it to an office or you can bring it to somebody else. And that is just as lovely of passing something along. But being able to stay in alignment with taking care of yourself. And I say this often. I've said this so many times over my lifetime. No one will take as good of care of myself as I can take care of myself. And the reason is because even if somebody was trying to take care of me, I would think, no, you don't know what you're doing. Or I felt bad somehow that I wasn't able to do it for myself, and start reinforcing that you can care for yourself. TJ, I feel like you were going to say something because I saw you on the edge of your seat.
Especially with leftovers, you mean you don't just put them in the fridge to see how long it takes to turn into a science project?
Some people do.
Oh, yeah. We do not throw away food in this house until
That's a
it's
big
been
one.
in the refrigerator long enough to turn green and fuzzy.
That is a big one.
Mark.
I was just thinking about, again, what, again, I don't really have any traditions other than, holiday habits. When I see the Santa Claus guy outside, because I've actually sat in that suit outside in the cold. I
The
always
Santa
have,
Claus guy.
ringing the bell. So yeah, I always make sure I have, small bills to throw into his kettle because, like I said, I can relate. I've done that in the past.
Mhm.
But that was one thought. And the other thought was, again, a lot of people get into binging at this time of year on sweets, goodies, whatever. But if you change the dynamic, what if you could binge on kindness?
Mm,
Mm-hmm.
that's a
Okay,
good one.
and I don't know if you'll ever reach satiation if you're binging on kindness, acts of kindness.
It's another good one.
You can never overeat kindness.
I
Yeah,
like that one.
good one.
The free gift that fits everybody.
Very
If
true.
anybody's in San Diego and has leftovers, because I'm not going to be cooking Thursday, my
Oh,
my one son is going with his mom. My other son is sick, so I'm going to kind of be on my own. So I won't be cooking. So if anybody in San Diego or has some
go
dry
visit
ice and
Greg.
they want to send me something, bachelors love free food, especially holiday free food. Send it on over.
Well, if you stop by my house, which is quite a distance away, I'll feed you.
All right.
They only
This
got
is
the
Boston.
entirety of the United States between us, Greg, but
Oh,
just fall in the door. We'll have some leftovers for you.
okay. Follow the nice aroma, huh?
While you're driving to his place, you can stop over in Texas
Mm-hmm.
and we'll have plenty of food here as
All
well.
right. All right. Thank you. Well, at least I know I'll never go hungry.
Nope. Oh, and the other part that I was gonna bring up, the joys of other people's cooking and trying not to yuck their yum.
Okay.
I've seen that a lot, and I get it a lot because some of the stuff that I grew up enjoying, my wife hasn't quite either ever heard of or had never thought of that combination. And I've had to tell her a couple of times, I love you, but don't yuck my yum. Fresh homemade sauerkraut, yum.
Mm.
She prefers kimchi.
Yeah.
I understand that for some people that is a major yum.
Mm.
I have not reached that level yet. And if you there's a couple of channels on YouTube that like to play forgotten foods of the past. And there are some that I wish were brought back, and there are some that I realize were survival food, and there are some that I realize were traditional. Really? Like the shaved carrot in green jello.
What?
Yeah, I saw that look. The Lord's like, wait, what?
Huh.
Yeah, and then they would top it with mayonnaise.
Ooh. Oy.
Okay, then.
Yeah. And apparently the Jello molds are trying to make a comeback.
Oh,
Which I'm
really?
fine with. Yeah, to each their own. I'm not going to yuck their yum. I won't be bringing that to the celebration. And I won't be taking home the leftovers either.
No.
Just saying. Aunt Gladys can take it back home with her. I'm sure she will enjoy all of it.
Thanksgiving can be a good time to try new things that you wouldn't
Yes.
really come across or make yourself, or so you have to be courageous and daring at somebody else's house on Thanksgiving at times. Have a strong constitution as well.
Elijah, I reserve the right to yuck anyone's yum. My yuck is my yuck. No need for you to agree. I'm not saying you got to eat it, but telling people that their yum sucks, if they're enjoying it,
Yep.
have at it.
Yep.
And one rule that you guys have heard me talk about that luckily it was given to me at a very young age. You try everything at least 3 times.
Mhm.
One of your classics.
Yes, because bad cooks, bad ingredients. And your taste buds change, your taste change over time.
Yeah.
So, yeah, and I've had plenty of things that the first 2 times, no, that was not in my yum house. And then the third time, I'm like, okay, this is it, number 3. And that does not mean 3 bites of the same thing off the same plate. I tried it 3 times. Oh, yeah? When? Made myself take 3 scoops off of the plate. Yeah, no, that was the same batch. It has to be 3 different batches. But yeah, I've had a number of things. First 2 times were no bueno. Third time, I'm like, okay, this is it. Third strike, I don't have to eat it anymore. And I tried it and I went, wait a minute. This is good. Why is this good? Bad cooks, bad ingredients.
Mhm.
Mark.
Yeah, I was targeting back to Holly's question about, rituals and holidays, and I just thought of one that was kind of out there. It's the Yule log that's on cable, and kind of made that a tradition when we're, decorating the tree or, just some little, but I don't know. I like sitting there watching the Yule log, so with the Christmas music playing in the background.
Yeah.
Another like I said, another one of those
Love the
little,
Yule log.
yeah, love me some Yule log.
Totally agree with you. Totally.
Who's tried fruitcake?
I make fruitcake.
Yeah, well,
Does it ship well?
I,
It
I,
does.
I avoided it. I avoided it for years. You know why? Because someone in the family didn't like it.
Ah,
And a friend of mine's family had one that they had been sending back and forth to each other for about 12 years. The same one. You were not allowed to touch it or open it because it was a 12-year-old fruitcake. Yeah, that's what I mean. They wouldn't eat it because they don't like fruitcake, so they would just send it back and forth to each other. They're like, nope, you take it back this year. And whoever had it had to store it for the whole year so they could send it back the next Christmas. Lenora.
My husband's grandmother, the one who I mentioned to you guys in the summer, she turned 100 this past summer. And 2 weeks after we saw her, after her 100th birthday, she passed on. And her fruitcake has been legendary in the family. And when I came into the family about like 17 years ago, I had a piece of this and I was, oh my God, I've never had fruitcake before. And it was the best fruitcake. And so one year I went to her house, my husband and we would go see our grandmothers because our grandmothers at the time lived 1 mile apart from each other in the state of Florida. And we did not know this until we were engaged,
oh my
which
God.
was pretty cool.
Okay.
And so we'd go down there in like November and we'd spend like 3 or 4 days at one and 3 or 4 days at the other and ta-da, there we had it.
Eat a lot of
And
fruitcake.
well, she walked me through the entire process,
Oh
which was
boy.
pretty special. And I took notes and I recorded her because she was cute as could
Oh,
be.
nice.
And when she moved out of her house into living with her daughter, they were packing up her belongings, and she gave me the infamous bundt cake pan.
Ooh, wow.
And if you're wondering if it is legendary, the answer is yes. It's quite legendary. And there is something to well-seasoned pans that came from the 30s and the 40s.
Okay.
Hi, Michael.
Yeah.
And so now every year I make this fruitcake and I'll make it a couple of times during the year. So yes, Duncan, it does ship quite well. And this thing is amazing.
I'll pay the postage.
It should get an award. It really should.
Wow.
So I'm very excited to be making fruitcake this year.
And that bun pan makes a lot of difference. I got a
It
couple
does.
of
I'll send you
pieces
all a picture.
from my mother who passed a couple of years ago and my grandmother, and they gave me some cooking items. In particular, an old Revere ware copper bottom percolator coffee. Magical coffee.
Oh, yes.
It's amazing. Amazing.
Totally.
Anyway, yeah, that's a lot to be
I
said.
totally agree with that.
Moms and grandparents, old, well-seasoned cooking stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And once again, this is the opportunity. I'm so glad that you brought it up, Lenora. Taking the time to learn certain recipes and skills from the people that may not have too many more seasons to share that information.
I'll have to bring the journal and show you guys next time.
Yeah, my wife has a cookbook and she was flipping through it and you could tell which pages had the best recipes. Do you know why? Because they got splatters all over them. You can see they've been opened and wiped off and got some batter on them, or they got a little bit of this on them. And I said, yeah, that's, and you got,
You laminate them.
yeah, grandma's.
I have
recipe
laminated
card.
recipes. Thank goodness for a laminating machine.
Yeah,
Totally worth it.
I've got a couple of old cookbooks from back home, and of course, my wife thinks it's hilarious that I have cookbooks because I'm the person that'll look at a recipe and go, all right, got it, put the recipe book away and start cooking. She's like, well, where'd you put the recipe? I said, put it away. Well, you're just getting started. I said, yeah, I got the idea because baking is science and cooking is art. I got the general idea of the song we're going to play, so let's play some music.
You got the theory.
But if you're baking, yeah, that recipe book's got to be out, and you're measuring grams and temperatures and time to the second, and which is why I prefer cooking.
Yeah.
Those rules.
Yep.
So you're more of an artist than a scientist.
Yeah, well, I can be a scientist, but it's also why I like my smoker.
Yeah.
Put it on there low and slow, and that and crock pots. I think crock pots, people have forgotten how amazing those things are.
Mhm.
That's so funny. I hate a crock pot.
What?
That's so funny. I hate a crock pot.
You hate
Drives me
it?
bananas.
Yeah?
Yeah, I love a smoker, but a crock pot, I don't know. Something just drives me nuts about it.
See?
Because I
That's
guess
what
you're
I'm-
a scientist.
Yes.
I'm definitely a baker.
Yeah, there are so many crock pot recipes out there and while we're on that note, I've helped a number of people that are kitchen operations challenged, we'll say.
hmm
And I pointed out that get yourself a good old-fashioned crock pot, the one where you can lift the crock out so that you can wash it, and go online. And there are so many, you just put healthy crock pot recipes, eat clean crock pot recipes, man in a can crock pot recipes, designed for the old-fashioned bachelor that, you know, they've got a can opener and a crock pot, and that's about all they got, and a spoon and a fork and a knife. But you can make some really amazing concoctions in those things. Cowboy beans. Now that I'm really hungry, and we are 2 days away from Thanksgiving, and we're at the top of the hour, I want to take this time to wish every single one of you, all of you that are watching, the most amazing Thanksgiving, whatever that is, whether you get to spend time at home alone doing whatever you want and don't have to put up with any reletics, or if you're going to the big family gathering and you get to see all the relatics you want to see and a few that I hope every one of you have a very safe and happy, amazing holiday season, and that you learn how to really utilize protective empathy, protect your energy, come out of this holiday season charged, ready to go for the next year. And if there's anything I can do to help you guys out, please let me know. I love helping people because you've taken the time to invest your very precious commodity of time on this platform, and I love you all for it. Take care.
I'm going to be by myself.
With the dogs?
Where
No,
at?
I'm in Park City, Utah. I have
Oh.
a huge 3-bed or a huge condo. with a loft and all kinds of stuff. My wife just went home yesterday, but I'm here until at least December 10th.
And
Wow.
and Greg's going to be in San Diego by himself.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, you can head over to my house. I think we're gonna have a Friendsgiving or something, so
Aw.
get you set up there.
All right. Is it cold there?
In San Diego?
No. In,
Well,
in Utah.
It is cold here. I just went to the St. Regis, and tonight was the last night for a hamburger and beer, a Wagyu burger for $10
Wow.
because the
Wow.
season's changed and now it's wintertime.
Oh.
And so it's like a local special. So I went to the St. Regis, which is like a Ritz-Carlton type of place.
Uh-huh.
Beautiful. And dinner was $24.
right on.
I mean, come on.
Not bad. Not
How does
bad.
it get better than that?
So they're coming into the snowing and snowboarding, it's not snowing, skiing, snowboard season now.
But we are behind out here. We were supposed to open tomorrow, and there's no snow on the ground. It was supposed to snow last weekend. It was supposed to snow the weekend before. Arizona got all the rain and precipitation. So, but it's so great seeing you guys. I'm glad I could squeeze on just for a minute.
Thank
Appreciate
you.
y'all.
All right, kids. God bless. Love y'all. See you in 7.
Yep.
Thank you.
Joy.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy
Whoa.
Thanksgiving, everybody.